Katie, and this year I've been chair of the Friends of St Anne's Library Committee, so it falls to me to introduce people this evening. So welcome to you, thank you for coming out to our murder mystery evening. Just before we start, the proceedings are being videoed. I'm taking it that there isn't any objection from anybody to that. Okay, good. Tonight we're going to be entertained to a murder mystery by the Windmill Players. A Schooling in Murder is the title, and we all have to watch very closely because we have to figure out who's done it. And you'll be given a form at some point during the evening to write down your answers. You can do it singly or one or two together, it doesn't matter. So without further ado, I'll hand you over to the Windmill Players for our entertainment. Thank you.
Thank you. My name's Carly, I'm a Windmill player, and I will be guiding you through today's events. As you were told, there is going to be an opportunity for you to fill in one of these sheets. So, think about how you're going to do it individually. If you want to do it as a team, you can come up with a team name. I will give these out to you at the end when you've seen all the events that occur, and then I will collect them from you as you finish them, and we'll have a look at them and see who we decide has won. The winners will be given 2 tickets for our next show, which is actually next week. It's called I'll Be Back Before Midnight. It's a bit of a thriller, it's a black comedy. I'm stage managing, and there are some of the actors today are taking part as well, so you will see them on stage. It's a really, really good show, very funny, but not for those with a nervous disposition. So even if you don't win, please do come and support us. I know Wednesday and Friday is sold out, but you can go on our website and you can order tickets through the website as well, so please do have a look at that. The actual performance itself is organised into 3 parts. The first little bit will take place in front of you here. I will then ask you to get up and in an organised, calm manner, move over to the other area over here. Now you will see there are 5 chairs. I would ask that you reserve those for those who are probably less able to stand, because you will be expected to stand just for a short, maybe 10-15 minutes if you're not going to have a chair. So that area is there. Everybody else, I will ask you, just so you know, so I'm not screaming at you afterwards, to stand within this area here between these pillars. Just so you get a good view and you can see we've got all the sidelines for everything that's going on. The rest of the scenes will go on in front of the line of chairs and also in between the 2 pillars over there. We will then come back here for the finale, and then you'll have the opportunity to fill in one of these, where you can also get refreshments as well, and have yourself some wine and juice and nice little meals and things like that. Okay, everybody happy? Yeah? Are you excited? Yeah. Let's get going then. I present to you A Schooling in Murder. Thank you very much.
School, and welcome to the first day of the new school year. For those girls who are new to school, I would like to introduce you to some of the heads of department who will be dealing with you this term. Head of Music, Miss Melody Tuner. In charge of Cookery, Miss Letitia Bunn. Girls PE is Miss Antonia Chan. And Mr. Rupert Clay is in charge of the Arts Department. Over the next few days, I'm sure you will be meeting some of our non-teaching staff who will also be happy to help you. We are very proud here of Cleveland's Collegiate Boarding School for Girls. And I, as the headmistress, Miss Sybil Clement, will ensure you of a stable and enjoyable education. Polly Smith, starting the way that you mean to go on.
Sorry, I'm going to silence.
Well, I'm afraid there's no room for you down here, so you're just going to have to stay up here with us. And now we shall sing the school hymn. We
Of the collegiate, the best school in the town, ever up and onward, is never let us down.
You will be going to first lesson shortly, but if you would allow the staff to leave first. Thank you, girls. We have an urgent staff meeting at lunchtime in the staff room. Please make sure you're prompt.
I don't know what the meeting will be about. Oh, probably more work and less money for our department. Still, we'll cope as always. Service with a smile.
If it means more work, I don't think I will stay here much longer. I have enough work to do as it is. I do feel I find it all rather stressful.
But you must stay and support the school. You need teachers of your calibre. We can't survive without a strong art department.
I would hardly describe myself as strong, Miss Tuna. I'm really quite delicate.
Ah, a gentleman. How rare.
Thank you.
Oh, Mrs. Stone, did you have a good summer holiday?
As good as it could be with Mr. Stone under your feet for all those weeks, lazy sod.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's a shame. Do you know, if I was married to you, I'd be taking you out every night to fancy nightclubs where we could trip and look fantastic, and I would drink champagne out of your shoes.
Oh, get away with your Percy Greengrass. Go back to sprucing up your playing fields.
Oh, Jenny Stone, oh, I have missed your dumplings.
Excuse me. Miss, I've got no.
What's all this?
I wish you to attend an essential meeting at the staff room at lunchtime today. Be prompt. Well, that's a turn up. Was allowed inside the hallowed walls of the staff room.
Well, we don't want to be late. We better be making a move straight away.
Oh, I'm the first to arrive. Oh, just time to get in a bit of extra exercise. Oh, hello, Rupert. Care to join me? Work up a bit of a sweat? Or how about a quick run before the meeting?
I'm afraid that the sum total of my experience in that area is running for a bus, and I don't do that if I can possibly help it.
Oh, dear. Then I wonder what other exercise we could do together.
You need space. I'll wait outside until the meeting starts. Miss Tuna!
I'm pleased to have bumped into you, Mr. Clay. I couldn't help but notice your voice when we sang the school song in assembly this morning. I was very impressed, and I was wondering if you'd like to take it further. Perhaps some private singing lessons. The music room is always free in an evening after choir practice, so we wouldn't be disturbed.
I'm afraid my years of experience in that field is well and truly over.
Think about it. I'm sure we could make beautiful music together.
Any sign of the head yet? Oh, hello, Melody.
Good morning to you, Miss Jo.
How lovely to see you. Did you have a good summer?
Very nice holiday, actually. I spent the whole of August in Italy, my favourite country.
Yes, indeed. The wines, the flavours, the range of pastas, the cheeses.
Drinking Chianti Classico in the summer sunshine.
I believe there's a new Italian restaurant opened in town, Rupert. I wondered if you'd like to join me one evening there.
No, but I don't think that would be a very good idea, Letitia.
I have rather missed you over the summer, Rupert. I wonder if you could perhaps catch up over a nice meal in Don Antonio's one evening then.
No, as I say, I really don't think that's a very good idea, Letitia.
Excuse me, sir. Miss. What Miss Clements has told you to tell you she's going to be here any minute. Please take your seats in the staff room.
Nice to see you out of your office, Miss Scriber. Have a good holiday.
Well, I seem to have spent most of it in school, Miss Tuna, dealing with mountains of paperwork. A secretary's job is never done, you know, and some of what I have to deal with is quite complex.
Cooking the books, eh?
Nothing of the sort, Mr. Clay. No culinary skills required. I leave all that to Miss Bunn and Mrs. Stone.
I have some news for you. I think there will be rather a lot of responses to it. I myself was rather startled when I was told what was going to happen. In their wisdom, the governors have decided that at the end of this term, Cleveland's Collegiate Boarding School for Girls is going to merge with Bispham Brook Boarding School for Boys. The new school will be on this site.
What a job safe.
Well, I have very little information at this time, but after our discussion, I have a meeting with the head of the boys' school, Dr. Carmichael Treadwell, and I will know more after that. I'm sure our professionalism will be held in very high regard. Of course, it is essential that the girls are not told. I will be in touch when I have more to tell. That is all. Thank you.
Sybil, how far have negotiations gone with this other school?
Far enough to know it's a fait accompli. The governors are in charge of both schools and they have to merge in order to keep both afloat.
I was wondering about that. Have they done an audit of our school finances yet?
Not yet. Why?
I think you know why.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
We had several areas of overspending, haven't we?
Oh, really?
Yes. There are one or two that spring to mind. Your office, for instance.
We have to have a good impression for prospective parents.
Yes, but is it really necessary to have a Persian silk carpet for your grand piano to sit on? And what about last Christmas's rather expensive personalised Christmas cards with your dog on the front?
Little Binky is so photogenic.
Yes, but nothing to do with the school. And I seem to remember we accidentally over-ordered just enough for you to send out to your many friends. Oh, and don't get me started on the 6-week, all-expenses-paid trip you've recently taken to Venice. Looking at designs for a new school hall, wasn't it? You know as well as I do that it's just another example of a shortfall. A shortfall that has nothing to do with falling numbers and rising stationery costs, as you sometimes imply.
All this is totally irrelevant.
Oh, it won't be when the auditors get here. And I think you should consider telling them yourself before I have to do it for you.
That sounds rather like a threat.
I wouldn't call it a threat exactly. But if you want me to, shall we say, massage the figures to put you in a better light, there better be something worthwhile in it for me. Anyway, I'll let you think about that. Because if I have to, I'll cover my own back rather than yours.
Oh, Polly's Smith. Always out on the corridors and in doorways and never in lessons. Why is that?
I don't know, miss. Teachers just seem to choose me to go out of lessons when they want a message delivering. I accidentally opened a note once. It said, "There is no message, but please scribble something on this note and send Polly off to another teacher so I don't get her back in class too soon." I didn't understand.
Anyway, why are you here looking as if you can't find the toilet?
Oh, the man, miss, he asked me to give you this.
Good grief, it's Dr. Treadwell is here already. Oh, here we go. I'll write something on the bottom of this note, and then you can take it to as many staff as you can find.
Yes.
Mrs. Stone, I wonder if I could just comment on the stew you made for lunch today.
No, you can't.
Well, I was only going to say...
Don't say anything. Nothing wrong with my stew. Best in the county.
Well, it was the dumplings I wanted to mention. The consistency and texture was rather a little bit too hard for the delicate stomachs of the pupils and the staff.
Are you disparaging my dumplings?
No, not at all. Mrs. Stone, please, you can put the ladle down. Now, do we have the same arrangements as last year about the cakes?
You bake and I ice and claim the whole thing as yours and charge top price. It's all right with me as long as I get my cut.
And the special ones?
The ones sloshing in rum, not very proper for a girls' school. Or the ones with a little of that special exotic stuff from abroad crumbled in. The stuff that helps people relax.
Gosh, Mrs. Stone, keep your voice down. You never know who might be listening. I thought I heard footsteps in the corridor. Yes, the same arrangements as last year.
I think I should get a bit extra this time. You see, I've been doing a bit of digging over the summer, checking a few things out.
What do you mean?
Let's just say, where was your degree from? The one you need in order to teach here. I think we should go 50-50 with the cakes this time.
All right, but I expect you to keep your mouth shut.
Well, as long as I get my money.
Okay.
I don't know whether you've given any further thought to my earlier suggestion, but the type of physical exercise that gets you breathing heavily can be most therapeutic.
I'm afraid I have no interest in any sport of any kind, outdoors or indoors.
Well then, perhaps I could get involved in your area of expertise. For instance, do you ever need a life model? I'm in excellent condition, and sporty people aren't embarrassed about their bodies.
Yes, well, I'm mainly concerned with abstracts at the moment. If you'll excuse me. Miss Tuna.
We meet again, Rupert. It looks as if it could be a beautiful evening. Do you know what I like to do on an evening like this? I go up to my room, second floor, roommate, and I slip into something loose and comfortable. And then I put on my recordings of my favourite operas and listen to those soaring arias. And sometimes I fling the window wide open and stand there with my gown fluttering in the breeze, just loving the emotion of the moment. Tonight will be an evening like that, Rupert. Second floor, roommate after supper.
If we're getting in requests, Miss Tuna, I think you'll find a cup of mine in first.
I think you'll find my request is far more inviting.
Ladies, please desist from this embarrassing behaviour. It's particularly awkward as I am in actual fact a married man.
What?
Something which I have not felt it important to mention at school until now. So, I really do think we ought to be professional and do what we are here to do, and that is to teach our pupils. Now, if you will excuse me.
That was rather unexpected.
Yeah, I suppose it was worth a try. I like a bit of extracurricular activity, especially in the evenings when the girls have come to bed. Oh, it's so boring out here.
Really? I had no idea.
Oh, yes. Remember that gorgeous French teacher last year? He was trop mignon.
You didn't.
Anyway, I'm not bothered about Rupert Clay anymore. I've got bigger fish to fry. In fact, I've got one on my line right now. Time to reel him in, I think.
Oh, who's this one then?
Oh, I think it might come as a surprise.
Ah, Melody.
Mr. Clay.
No need to be so formal.
But I thought you were married.
I am, but my wife spends all the term time at home with the children, and, well, I get sort of lonely in the evenings for female companionship, and I'm sure you would be very discreet. Unlike that man-eater of a PE teacher and that drippy cookie cookery person, woman. Would you like to come and see my etchings?
Do you etch?
Only if you'll scratch.
I'm glad they've gone. I can relax for a minute. It's time to go back to the lesson book. Which one? Oh, I seem to be delivering notes all morning and now we should be... Oh, I've no idea. Still, picked up some pretty interesting information. I mean, who knew teachers did so much, out of the classroom. Oh, I'm missing at lunch and I'm starving now. Tell you what, I'm going to go wander around the corridors until something turns up.
That's all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Dr. Carmichael Treadwell. We have just had an extensive and enlightening discussion in my office, and now he would like to talk to you all.
Staff of the Cleveley's Collegiate Boarding School for Girls. I'm delighted to meet you on this my first visit as your new head, although some of us have met before.
What does it mean?
Why did he smile at you like that?
Now, both myself and my staff at the Bispenbrook Boarding School for Boys are looking forward to moving to these marvellous facilities where I'm sure that we will settle in very quickly. Male and female students will, of course, be segregated during their lessons and in their leisure time, but there are many ways in which they will benefit academically. Now, are there any questions at this stage?
Yes, I have one. Will all the staff here retain their jobs?
A tricky question. I think it is inevitable that there will be some redundancies.
How many and from which schools?
It's difficult to say at this stage, but you see, I've always found that the gold standard for teaching is the kind of expertise that I have found in my male teachers, so I would imagine that they will fulfill the majority of the posts.
But
But that's disgraceful. Surely it can't be allowed.
It's perfectly legal, my dear. I mean, after all, this is 1936. There are various areas where I do think that a woman's touch is indispensable. Physical development is one of my key areas for development, so your job, Miss Jump, will be safe, and I will be visiting your department on a regular basis.
Another little? You clearly have quite a very bad view of women teachers.
Yes,
I can assure you that we are very competent and all very well qualified.
yes, well, that is why I shall be examining your credentials very carefully before I decide who to keep and who to let go.
And where does our present head fit into this choosing?
I have been informed that I will be allowed to attend discussions between Dr. Treadwell and the governess.
Do I take it that my job is fairly secure, me being a man and all that?
Well, presumably, assuming that your credentials are all in order.
Nothing wrong with my credentials.
You'll still be needing cooks. Boys have big appetites.
Yes, you have a good point there. I think we may need to recruit a few more ladies. I always like to see the kitchen busy with ladies toiling.
Mr. Dr. Treadwell, what about me? I've worked hard to keep them pitches in good shape, and I'm a bit worried about boys playing rugby. They can be rough on the grass.
I don't think you need to worry. I shall be bringing over a team of younger men who know exactly how to look after pitches and greens.
Oh, what am I to be in charge of them then, sir?
No. I think at your stage of life you'll be better off in the potting shed. Time to put your feet up, grow a few flowers. We need someone to make the place look a bit more beautiful.
Dr. Treadwell, I have to say that both I and my staff will oppose this plan vociferously.
Well, oppose as you wish, but the board have made their decision to change to a co-educational school requires a firm hand, a man's hand. Now, Miss
Clement?
Miss Clemens, yes, headmistress. Perhaps we should go and examine the contracts.
Of course. If anyone should require me, I will be in my office with Dr. Treadwell.
So, what happens now?
I really don't know how we can protect our jobs.
Yeah, I think mine might just have been protected.
So it's all right for you then, isn't it? But this is the only job I've ever wanted.
Flowers for the entrance. After all my years of hard work, and I'm to be confined in a potting shed. It's insulting.
I must say, I do feel for you girls. You know, that your jobs are in jeopardy just because you're female.
We girls must stick together. Bispham Brook Boys' School must not be allowed to prevail. I shall write a song in protest immediately.
Excuse me, Miss Scriber. I've been asked to get the staff information sheets from you and taken to Miss Clement's office.
Well, that's very irregular. Normally those things are kept confidential from pupils.
I was told it was urgent bits.
Very well, come along, I'll see if I can find them. Just a minute, Polly. I've been meaning to have a little word. I have noticed how much time you spend hanging around outside doors. Sometimes half-open doors as you run your little errands.
Yes, miss.
A word of warning. Don't be tempted to listen too closely to the conversations inside. And don't ever think about using any of that overheard information to obtain a little extra pocket money.
I don't understand it.
I was a young girl once myself, Polly. I know how devious young girls can be. You'll remember my advice if you know what's good for you.
Yes, miss.
Now, let's go and find those papers, Miss Clements.
I think I'll just go and have a sit down in the long garden, if you don't mind.
Will you be all right, Percy?
I think I'll be all right. I just want to spend a little bit of time on my own.
We've all had a bit of a No point in worrying till we know what's going to happen. Why don't the rest of you come down to my kitchen and I'll make a big pot of good, strong tea. I might even be able to find a little something to go in it that might make you feel a bit better.
Sugar?
I was thinking of something a bit stronger.
Good out.
I was just coming to see you. Could you let me have those staff detail sheets, please? Dr. Treadwell's getting a bit fractious. He wants to take them with him rather than read them here.
What do you mean? I sent them to you a few minutes ago.
Oh, no, that's not possible. He only asked for them a moment or so ago. He's been showing off, playing the piano in my office. I did not think it was coming useful one day.
But I did send them when Polly Smith came and asked for them.
Polly Smith? I wouldn't send them with Polly Smith. I wouldn't send anything confidential with the people.
I wonder who sent her them. I mean, she couldn't have wanted them herself. She wouldn't have known what they were.
Where are those papers? I need to leave on the hour. I want to take them with me. I'm all incompetent in this school.
Of course not. It's just that something unusual must have happened.
What's the matter with this girl? Is she hysterical?
No, I'm afraid she's dead.
She was a perfectly healthy young woman.
Then she must have been murdered.
Because now you guys have the opportunity to have some questions answered. You may have some suspicions, you may have some thoughts. I'm now going to give you the chance to hot seat each individual character. Okay, so you've got a few things that you want to ask, smooth a few things out. Apologies, technical glitch. So, Mr. Clements, I will ask you to take the available seats as you will be the first person to whom the audience can ask some questions. So, we'll do a raise of hands. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Mr. Clements?
What papers were they exactly that she was sent for?
Well, they were, in the main, there were application forms that people had filled in when they were applying for jobs, but then they would fill in the form when they arrived, and then we would put any comments on that. So it's really a double-headed kind of thing. As a member of staff had one.
No questions.
So they would come, excuse me.
No, carry on, carry on.
So they would contain the qualifications and the personal details of staff, which the new headmaster was going to.
Yes, yes. Though as far as personal details are concerned, it really only would be what we were given by the member of staff. You know, if there was something they didn't want to tell us.
You added something that they said.
Things that were perhaps relevant to their work, successes, other things. And they were all filed very carefully and confidentially.
Did that apply to your the staff like caretaker?
Oh yes, oh yes. Yes. The secretary has every single member of staff. I mean, I think it's important to have those kinds of records, really, to be on the safe side.
And in your opinion, why did the other teacher need that?
Well, he had this strange idea that only men were appropriate for the combined school. And of course, the vast majority of my staff, it being a girls' school, were ladies. And I suspect, being sort of chappy he was, that he would probably go to them with a fine-tooth comb and look for reasons, perhaps to exclude some. Though it may be that he was just being nosy.
Was Paul related to any of the staff?
Not as far as I know. No, not even a whisper. No.
Any more questions? Yes.
When you were in Italy on your course in Venice, did you meet up with the art teacher?
No, I think from a distance I saw somebody that might have been him, but no. I don't even know if we were in the same area. Were we in the same area?
Were you on your own?
I travelled on my own, yes. I wanted to look at the artwork and the architecture. I had a plan for the new school wall, but I suppose that will go.
So the PE teacher and the new head, and then sort of previously.
Well, I know nothing about it other than there were some interesting looks going between them. Some of the things that he said, like that smirk that she developed. Yes, very possible. But I don't know any details. It's the first I've heard of it.
So was it the board of governors from your school who decided that actually this merger had to take place because of the financial difficulties?
Well, it is a joint board of governors and has been for a very long time. I mean, both schools have existed for a long time. I believe there are minor financial problems, but in an educational establishment, it swings and roundabouts. 1 year benefits, 1 year tighten the belt, you know what it is.
Was there anybody else in the school that had access to the file? Was everything confidential?
No, obviously I have access to them, and Miss Stripe, she also has access to them. And other than that, it would be difficult but not impossible for somebody to access them. But I think, bearing in mind how closely she guards things, I would think it was nigh on impossible for anyone else.
You said all the things were recorded on the forms. Would the members of staff have access? Would they ever see all the things that were recorded on those forms?
No, that's really the sort of confidential area. They would know what was on their own application and our initial logging of their details, and then anything beyond that would be confidential from that point.
If the young lady was so unsuitable for the school, both academically and personality-wise, why didn't she
I hate to speak ill of the dead, but I do understand what you're saying. We are a fee-paying school. We welcome all and try to find appropriate things for them to do.
And the special cakes that the cookery teacher made,
Sorry,
the special cakes that were made.
I know nothing of special occasions.
Sorry.
This must be a conversation that I missed somewhere.
Were your own details in the confidential files?
I imagine they must be. I mean, I've been here for a very long time, but yes, I think they must have been, yes.
So who would be commenting on your behaviour?
The board of governors, if necessary, the board of governors, sure. Yes?
Can I just clarify that Miss Smith, the student, Polly,
She didn't say who'd sent her for the files, did she? No, I was behind the curtain.
I'll take one more question because you will get the chance to ask the other staff because they only know things from their own point of view.
So do you think, from your point of view, you've been sort of sidestepped?
In terms of my role within the school, I don't think I can see it any other way. But ho-hum, that's the profession, I suppose.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The T-shirt next, please. That's what we see. Questions?
These special cakes, the different kinds and the very special cakes, who did you sell all these cakes to?
Most of the time we actually sell them to the teachers. They thoroughly enjoyed the cakes, to be honest. We didn't, I think on one occasion Mr. accidentally let some of the children have some, but we sold them to the teachers.
There seems to be a question about the qualifications for teaching. There seems to be a dubious nature of that. I would like to know what the dubious nature is. What your qualification was.
I'm led to believe that Mrs. Stone found out something which obviously distressed me quite a lot, but I did study to be a teacher, but sadly wasn't quite good enough. But I knew that my capabilities and my strengths would have actually worked in a school. So my friend who also studied on the course lent me her certificates, and obviously then since I've been in the job, I mean I've done an absolutely stunning job. I mean I love the job very much, and since I've been in it I've had no complaints at all of any of the teachers or indeed the head teacher.
As I explained to one of the members of staff, I had a very enjoyable time. I'm sorry?
This is the bag.
Oh, the badge. Oh, it's to do with the opera house, you know, in La Scala. I used to sing, you know, for a living in the chorus. Where I found my love of Italy and my love of music, but my studies actually were more concentrated towards the physical part, if you know what I mean.
Okay, thank you. So Melody now, please. Any questions for Gina?
How's the songwriting going? Well, I think now I should have to write a few for the dead. Rather than just sing them around.
Any more questions?
Do you feel that you stand a reasonable chance of being reappointed to amalgamated school?
I hope so. It depends what they're looking for.
You have suitable qualifications to take it. There's no problem with.
Good Lord, yes.
Just one.
All right, thank you very much. And Carrie Stone, please. Yes.
Where was she when the murder was committed?
Where were you when the murder was committed, Mrs. Stone?
I think we were in my kitchen having that pot of tea.
Was Polly there as well?
I didn't see Polly, no, she doesn't, well, she's often in my kitchen, mind you. She's one of these that comes in and pokes her nose everywhere. But I quite like her because she does chat. You know, and some of them don't talk to you, some of them are, speaking to menial staff.
Go again, we going 50-50 rather than cake. What's that 50-50 thing?
The profit on the cakes. We sell
Oh, I see.
cakes and, yes.
I thought
And she was taking, you know, a bigger share than Nick, you know, sort of thing. And yeah, I'm doing a lot of the work, you know. And yes, I just, you know, and I've got Mr. Stone to support, you know, he's at home and he's been, you know, invalided out of the army. Well, sort of invalided out. Yes. Didn't get a pension though, didn't give him a pension. It was, you know, just unfortunate really that, you know, he dropped the big rate at the wrong time. And, you know, and it'd been a few inches to the left, it'd been more than his pension he'd lost. But he can't work now, you see, so we need the extra, you know, so it's been a good earner really, and, you know, and he does nobody any harm, you know, and the staff have all, you know, appreciated the cakes and, you know, the little extras that we put in sometimes, just to, you know, liven it up a bit, and yes.
So those are your decisions? What goes in which cake?
Oh, well, no, not really. It depends what I've been given, you know. These, you know, they go on these travels and bring things back. You know, and you know, they're interesting spices, I think, you know. But they seem to have a nice effect, you know. One or two in the sixth form, and, you know, started to have a little nibble at times. So it makes a very, very happy school.
You were offering tea and cakes. Were they all there? Were any cakes missing?
Cakes missing. I don't know. I didn't count them. Could have been some missing, but not quite sure how many I'd left out. You know. Don't know. Because we had lunch and stew. It was excellent. usual.
You ever baked sort of under the influence? Shall we say? Have you ever
It was only the ones that were left in the staff room that came down with me, and they weren't all there. You were there, weren't you? You were there, yeah. Yes, yeah, you were always there. No, you weren't, were you? No.
So who wasn't there?
You were first gone down to the shed, hadn't you?
In the long dark.
The long dark. And you weren't there. I don't know where you were. Yeah. These two were there. But I mean, she's always in my kitchen, so, you know.
And Polly wasn't there either.
I didn't see Polly, you know, whether she'd already been in. She's, you know, she's one of these that sneaks up, you know. I've often slapped her wrist when she's I think she knows or something, you know.
There's a gentleman at the back.
I was just wondering if you'd ever baked under the influence of your own baking.
Pardon?
Did you make mistakes with ingredients?
Mistakes?
You've been under the influence, right?
Under the, what does that mean?
Have you helped yourself to your own
Oh, I eat the cake.
but then baked when you just didn't.
Right.
You help yourself to your interesting ingredients, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, and I eat the cakes, you know, I have to taste them, don't I? You know, you don't know what you like. You're giving people, you don't try them yourself first. Yeah, I always try them first, you know. But I'm fine, yeah, you know. Might not have been something she had at school, right? It not, you know. Might not have been something she ate. Not quite sure what happened, you know.
Is the kitchen always open?
The kitchen always open. Yes, yeah, it's open, yeah. Not many people come in uninvited, though. Don't know why.
Any more questions?
Yes.
Have you ever asked Polly what she hears when she's listening to doors?
No, I never asked her. She tends to chatter without me asking her things. So she tells me a lot of stuff, really. But I quite like her because, like I say, she does, you know, she's quite, you know, friendly. And some of them won't look at you even at this school, you know. They think they're cut above somehow. I don't know why. Just because they've got money.
Okay. Right then, we'll go to Tracy now, please.
I don't know why anyone talk to me like.
Do you grow any poisonous plants in the gardens?
Well, poisonous plants. I expect there are one or two poisonous plants, yeah. I imagine there are. I don't really know, but I expect there are. Ivy and that sort of thing.
Do you grow any other kind of plants?
Well, I grow lots of plants. I grow all sorts of flowers and vegetables, and I look after them properly, you know, and they grow really big. I'm not quite sure what you mean. Oh no, I don't put nothing in cakes. No, nothing in cakes. Not that I know of, anyway. Well, you have to, don't you? I don't like using it, but yeah, I use a bit of weed killer, yeah. And a few things for the slugs and that sort of thing. Or in pottage. Oh, of course it's not. I have to look at or I get in trouble. Of course, memory's not quite what it was. I have forgotten once or twice, I suppose. Yes.
How friendly are you with the cook?
Oh, she's a lovely. Oh, she's a lovely. I love her dumplings. Oh, she's got the best dumplings. But of course, Mrs. Snodgrass, she's a cracker too, of course. Back home. More noise knows life's worth.
Do you know if dumplings are on the menu at the school lunchtime?
As far as I know, dumplings is nearly always on.
Any more questions, Mr. Stafford?
Does the job is really on the line and this business about...
Well, I don't think it's on the line. He's took me off to the pottage shed, told me to grow flowers, and he'll have an army of young lads in to do the fields, but I expect I'll have a job for a bit longer till they pension me off.
Okay, thank you. Caroline, right, please. Any questions?
Did you ask Polly who asked for these papers?
Well, Polly told me that the headmistress wanted the papers and Dr. Treadwell.
So you went out with Polly for the documents, did you?
I did, yes.
And what happened then when you'd given Polly the documents?
Well, I went to my office and found the documents, handed them over, and Polly went off, and I stayed in my office.
You didn't go down for a cup of tea with Polly?
Did it not occur to you, as the head teacher said, that she would never have asked for Polly to bring them to her?
Well, I did think it was unusual, but Polly was quite adamant that it was urgent, and I thought, well, Dr. Treadwell being in the school and everybody up in arms about the whole merger business, that I just thought she needed them in a hurry, and Polly's always hanging around, so I sent them with her.
Have you any idea when the documents are now?
I don't know.
Have you read them?
Have I read them? Yes, I have read them.
So you probably know whose jobs would be on the line.
I have no idea what Dr. Treadwell's plans are, beyond him favouring male members of staff. I don't know what he's looking for.
He said he was looking for qualifications.
As far as I know, all the teachers who are in the school at present have the correct qualifications required.
Would you say that Polly was particularly friendly with any particular one member of staff or the others?
I didn't really take any notice of what Polly did.
Didn't notice,
She was
okay.
always in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Why didn't teachers want Polly in their class?
I have no idea.
She was always floating around.
I have no idea. I'm not a teacher myself. So.
You don't speak to the teachers.
I do speak to the teachers, but I've never spoken to any of the teachers about Polly.
You were in control of the hands. You were in control of it. You are to keep the school in hands. Were you aware of Polly's fees paid up to date?
Oh yes, all the girls' fees were paid up to date. I made sure of that.
How did the teachers spending come about? Did you accounts?
Well, they're a fee-paying school. The girls pay, their families pay. They get a very good education. And Sybil likes to have nice things and nice holidays. And I like to have a nice nest egg for when I retire. So everybody's happy.
Okay, thank you very much. So last but not least, Dr. Treadwell, please. Any questions?
Why is he a misogynist?
No.
I beg your pardon, madam.
Why are you a misogynist?
the economic and social climate of Europe as we come to the end of this decade indicates a change which I believe will have a magnificent impact on the remains of Europe. As I speak now, the clouds of war are gathering over the Channel. For the first time for centuries we need to stand together, men to men, man to man, shoulder to shoulder. Ladies, of course, will have an opportunity to provide support for this, but they will not be in the front line. Their educational needs will be subordinated to the expectation that we will have for our young men. And hence, I will therefore, madam, support the male member. In our society.
So the girls in this newly merged school are not going to get the required education?
They have a place, and as a fee-paying school, for which of course we must maintain our income base, the input will be proportionate to the requirement that we foist on parents with regard to the financial cost. In other words, they will get as much as they pay for.
And the governors are agreeing with this. They feel
Absolutely.
that the women...
Absolutely, madam. I have been appointed to change the face of the school, and indeed I will.
It's something how you are supporting a co-ed school.
It is simply a case of changing our expectations in society. Everybody, I believe, has their place. And when you have a traditional establishment, as we have, then only time will enable us to make the necessary ratio changes. So one must always begin with what one is given, and then have available a target for what one wishes to achieve. And over the coming years, I'm sure I will achieve.
And what is it?
It will be an outperforming school of magnificence with regard to its male constructs. We will become a military academy. A rifle school could be established, for example, as has happened on the coast in recent years. We will have young men trained to fight, to kill, and of course, to run the economy of our country.
And how do you see the future of your girl pupils at the school?
Supportive.
So in the gathering, in the face of the gathering war clouds and
Yes.
threats, don't you feel that you should look after your female staff?
Indeed we will, madam. Imagine the situation where the men charge forward with their rifles and every lady is provided with an umbrella. Yes.
Has he been at your place one year? And you've been very designated staff.
We will have a change to our staff, but as you have seen, there are a number of females within the organisation, and as I said to the gentleman before, it is simply a ratio switch, an appropriate ratio switch, which will over time alter.
So do you see a future for all the present lady members of staff?
Oh, I can see that they will all have a future, but do not necessarily have this
Did you send colleagues, did you tell colleagues that you want to pay for this and you sent
Oh, There was a note which I asked to be delivered. The girl herself, the first time I saw her, was subsequent to a screaming fit, which I believe she had.
Yes.
From what you're implying, would it mean that the boys were given one fee to pay, and the parents get one fee to pay, and the girls were given a totally different fee?
It is differentiated. Yes, it is differentiated in an unusual way. It's rather difficult. You need to imagine it's something like a matrix of entry and outgoing, and then parents' income, and one multiplies an aspect of that against the pre-academic qualifications, of course, and this then determines the amount of fee payable. It is quite complicated, but I'm sure it will be understood eventually by the bursar when he's involved.
Are the women going to be asked to pay more? The women students?
Not necessarily more in a cash sense. Well, with regard, for example, to the amount of time, input and hours they will be available.
Okay, with the risk of going off. Are there any more questions to Dr. Treadwell regarding the events leading up to? I will ask the staff now to retire. We'll come back to you shortly. It is now decision time for you, ladies and gentlemen. So, decide whether you're going to work together, whether you're going to work individually. I do have some pens, so I'll pass you in your team or individually a sheet of paper. Please do take time to fill it in, as I said before, there are refreshments available for you. I will ask though that when you have completed it, just let me know and I'll just take them in as we go, so then we can have a look at them and we're not waiting too long. Is that okay? It's all right. Okay. So, moment of truth. The real murderer, please stand up.
I gave it to my scribe. I thought somebody.
I thought it was your resignation, dear.
I just like to give you a statement. Me, murderer. Can't believe that I've actually killed someone. But you actually have to understand that I was actually desperate. My whole world was crumbling around me. Mrs. Stone was virtually blackmailing me over the case, and heaven knows where she got the information from. But it was accurate enough. Right, I'd faked the qualifications to get the job. People do that all the time, don't they? Funnily enough, it was actually Cherry Stone I actually planned to kill. To keep her mouth shut. So I went down to Percy's garden shed, took some weed killer and mixed it into the buns. And I was going to tell Mrs. Stone it was new ingredients and actually off for a while. Before I could do so, Polly came into the cookery room with the message and she started dropping some hints about how she was hearing things and, overhearing things in corridors. And so I assumed automatically that she knew about her lack of qualifications. So it became more urgent to actually get rid of Polly than it was of Cherry. It was
with 8 teams deciding who this one was the murderer. So let's give them a round of applause for getting Of course, it does all come down to detail. I do want to give credit to the St. Ives trio who thought that the cake was meant for the art teacher. Didn't like that twist. Where are the St. Ives trio? Well, then we'll give them a round of applause for picking the Well, that's the winners, and I apologise if I pronounced this wrong, are Ayla and Zipa. She didn't want anyone to find out about her lack of qualifications, and she found out that Polly has the applications, so she gave Polly a cake laced with poison from the potty. Linda here does actually have 2 tickets for our show on Saturday, so if you're available for that, or we can re-register that. So Linda is what you're playing. Otherwise, one final round of applause for our Players, Thornton, Cleavers into Google will come up there. We've got information about the show that's on next week. The show after that, which is in February, is called Plaza Suite. Di, who plays the headmistress, is a 3-act play, quite separate. So Di is directing 1 act. David, who played the assistant brass, he's directing 1 act, and I'm directing 1 act as well. So it's for everybody at Plaza Suite, because each scene is kind of a little bit different as well. So there's lots and lots for you to come and support us and see the diverse talent that we have with the Windmill players. And do please tell your friends as well. Come and see us. I think we're doing a draw. Are you doing that now? Yes. So we'll do the draw. And may I again say thank you very much for coming.